Picture this. English common law held one rule above the executioner's authority. A sentence of hanging was complete the moment the rope went taut. If you survived the drop, the Crown had no warrant to hang you again. It is a gray Tuesday morning in 1885. You are standing on a wooden scaffold 8 feet above the ground at a county jail, wrists pinioned behind your back with a leather strap, a white calico hood about to be pulled over your head, a 3/4-inch manila rope looped around your neck with the knot seated just below your left ear. The hangman pulls the lever. The trapdoor drops. You fall. The rope arrests, and you do not die. That is the problem. That is everyone's problem. Oh, hey there. I'm your host, dead, caffeinated, and here to walk you through one of the most bureaucratically humiliating ways the human body can fail to shut down. We're talking judicial hanging, sublethal cervical trauma, if you want to get clinical about it. Congratulations, you've survived your own execution. The rope did its job wrong. The state has no protocol for this, and somewhere across town, a prison governor is sweating through his wool suit. Let's find out what happens when the machinery of death misses. Here is what hanging is actually supposed to do. In 1872, an English hangman named William Marwood introduced what he called the standard drop. Before Marwood, hangings were short drop affairs. A cart pulled away, a man strangled slowly for several minutes. Marwood's innovation was engineering. He developed a weight-to-drop table, targeting 1,260 foot-pounds of force delivered to the knot at the moment of arrest. For a 160-pound man in 1885, that means a drop of roughly 7 to 8 feet. The math has to be exact. It really has to be exact. The goal is traumatic subluxation of C2 on C3, the hangman's fracture. The knot under the left ear forces the head to snap violently rightward and upward, fracturing the odontoid process, rupturing the atlantoaxial ligaments, and transecting the spinal cord at the level of the medulla oblongata simultaneously. Consciousness extinguishes in under 7 seconds as cerebral blood flow halts. From lever pull to full drop arrest takes approximately 0.3 seconds, roughly the duration of a single eye blink. You do not have physiological time to brace. There are 3 ways this goes wrong. Too short a drop, below 800 foot-pounds of arrest force, the cervical spine does not fracture, you hang alive. Too long, above roughly 1,500 foot-pounds, the head separates from the body entirely. That happened. The third failure mode is the sublethal miss, the Goldilocks problem, where the rope injures but kills nothing vital. Contributing factor? A dry manila rope stretches up to 10 to 15% of its length under sudden load. A rope set at 8 feet may deliver only 6.8 to 7.2 feet of true arrest force. Hangmen were required to pre-stretch rope overnight under a sandbag of equivalent weight. Sometimes they forgot. Sometimes it rained. The cervical spine also has a distraction tolerance. A correctly executed drop pulls the fracture site apart by 0.5 to 1.5 inches, roughly the length of a large paperclip. That gap is the entire distance between instant death and minutes of conscious suffocation. Okay, here is the timeline. T equals 0. The trapdoor is 4 feet by 2.5 feet and drops on a draw-pin lever. You have been standing on it for approximately 40 seconds, wearing the calico hood. Darkness sharpens proprioception in a strange way. Witnesses describe the seconds before the lever as stretching into what felt like an eternity. The lever pulls. Your body drops. You weigh 160 pounds, and the rope arrests you at 7.1 feet of actual travel, delivering approximately 780 foot-pounds of force to the knot, below the threshold. Your C2 vertebra cracks, but does not fully fracture. The cord is not transected. You are injured. You are not dead. That number needed to be 200 foot-pounds higher, just 200, 0 to 6 seconds. Bilateral carotid compression begins the moment the rope goes taut. Under rope pressure, cerebral blood flow drops by roughly 85% within 4 to 6 seconds. Your heart rate at the moment of drop is approximately 130 BPM, spiking with acute stress. Peripheral vision blacks out first. Central vision narrows to a gray tunnel. Your blood pressure collapses at the periphery, while the carotid restriction prevents venous return from the brain. Under complete occlusion, you would lose consciousness in 10 to 15 seconds. But the knot has ridden. Compression is partial, 6 seconds to 90 seconds. You are conscious, partially suspended, partially strangling. Arterial CO2 climbs above 50 millimeters of mercury. This triggers what physiologists call air hunger, and the term does not do it justice. It is a full-body emergency signal, involuntary and overwhelming. Your respiratory rate, normally 16 breaths per minute, is attempting to cycle against a closed airway. Nothing moves. The rope diameter is 3/4 of an inch, roughly the circumference of a large grapefruit at the knot point, seated directly over the carotid triangle. Your O2 saturation is dropping through 70%. Within 60 to 90 seconds of inadequate oxygenation, your motor cortex begins firing uncontrolled salvos. Your legs kick. Your arms strain against the pinioning strap. The Victorian crowd had a name for this: dancing on air. It is not voluntary. It is your cortex dissolving in stages. 90 seconds to 4 minutes. Victorian statute required the body to hang for 1 full hour before the surgeon confirmed death. This protocol existed precisely because incomplete hangings had been documented. The hour-long suspension was designed to ensure asphyxiation would finish what the drop failed to accomplish. But the prison surgeon is watching from the base of the scaffold stairs. Something is wrong with the rope angle. Something is wrong with the movement. He signals. The hangman descends into the drop pit. You are cut down at approximately 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Your heart rate at this point is somewhere around 40 BPM, thready, irregular. Your O2 saturation is in the low 60s. You are unconscious. You are breathing, barely, 4 to 5 times per minute. Your neck carries a deep rope groove, the skin below the knot already showing petechiae, pinpoint burst capillaries across the conjunctiva of the eyes and across the face. The surgeon checks for a fractured hyoid. The U-shaped hyoid bone fractures in approximately 27 to 34% of judicial hangings. Yours is intact. Your C2 is damaged but holding. He signs nothing. You are alive. 4 minutes onward. You regain partial consciousness on the ground beside the drop pit. The governor has been telegraphing London for 11 minutes. You are moved to a holding cell. You sit on an iron cot with a straw mattress. The rope mark on your neck is already bruising a deep purple red. The cell door is closed. The surgeon stands in the doorway watching you breathe. All right, but what does this actually feel like? Survivors of sublethal hangings describe the moment of drop as a white percussion, a sudden full-body impact that is more sound than sensation, a crack felt through the skull rather than the neck. John Lee, hanged 3 times in 1885, said afterward that each drop felt like falling into a loud silence. Joseph Samuel, hanged 3 times in Australia in 1803, the rope breaking twice and the noose slipping once, described the seconds in suspension as an inability to complete a thought, as though consciousness was a sentence with the last word missing. 3 times. He went through that 3 times. What survivors consistently report is the pressure. Not pain exactly, not at first. A total compression around the throat that the brain does not process as injury, but as wrongness. A categorical wrongness that nothing in your nervous system has a template for. Some survivors describe it as trying to swallow a fist. Vision goes in patches, not all at once. Hearing is the last sense to fade, distant and muffled, as though the world is continuing in the next room without you. Then there is the waiting. Your vision returns. The gray cell comes back into focus. And the horror specific to this particular situation arrives. You are alive. You have been formally executed, and somewhere in a gas-lit office, a man is writing a telegram to London asking what to do with you. The legal machinery that condemned you has no gear for reverse. You, the convicted felon who walked onto that scaffold at 8 in the morning expecting oblivion, are now the most bureaucratically inconvenient person in England. You are already gone from that story. The paperwork has not caught up yet. Historically, sublethal hangings occurred in an estimated 3 to 5% of executions before the standard drop was reliably implemented. John Lee's sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. He was released in 1907. Joseph Samuel was reprieved on the spot by the colonial governor. Some were not so fortunate. Some were hanged again within the hour under disputed legal authority. Stay away from trapdoors. Avoid poorly calibrated ropes. You know, common sense stuff. Hit subscribe if you want to keep exploring the worst ways to go. Dying is bad enough. Dying twice because of a clerical error is just embarrassing. I'll be here. I'm dead.